Hello everyone. Today we begin with the long composition in the writing section, that is report writing. What is a report? Reports are written to present facts about a situation, occasions or the events and will describe and elucidate the issue at hand. Ultimately, the goal of a report is to relay observations to a specific audience in a clear and concise style. Unlike an article which sets out to defend a writer's view about a topic, a report discusses a topic in a structured, easy to follow format. Hence, article is subjective and the report is objective and descriptive.
Ma'am, what is the difference between subjective and objective?
Uh, it is when a person, the writer, is expressing his own views. So, you might have seen a disclaimer written below the article that it is personally the views of the author, that is being subjective. On the other hand, when we have the report is objective, that is, it is only stating the fact without any intervention of any personal opinion to that. So, that is the basic difference between an article and a report.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving forward.
What is the purpose of writing a report? Reports are the primary means of communication in organization. In large scale organizations, there is no alternative to use reports. Reports also play an important role in small scale organizations. Hence, transmitting information, interpretation and explanation of events, making decisions, development of information base, and recommending actions. So, while writing report, there are certain points to remember. To be written in formal and business-like manner, indirect speech preferably in the passive voice, write in the third person form, completely avoid the use of the personal pronoun, that is I or me. Use second person pronoun only when necessary. Try to replace you with one, like you should do or people should do. Instead of that, we are saying one should do it. Now, adherence to the word limit, that is 150 to 200 words. This has been specified by CBSE, and preferably we have 3 paragraphs: introduction, body and conclusion. Let's examine types of report. So, you get only 2 types of report: school and newspaper report. In this video, we are only discussing the elements newspaper report. So, first of all, the elements of newspaper report. What is a news report? News reports are found in newspapers and the purpose is to inform the readers of what is happening in the world around them. News reports have a certain structure that you need to follow. The structure is sometimes called the inverted pyramid. That is what it looks like. So, you can here see the diagram. Newspaper reports begin with the headline, as you can see in the pyramid. Then we have the lead paragraph that informs the reader about the most important aspects of the story as soon as possible. So, the lead paragraph is often the only part of the story that people read. Now, let us see the 5 W's as stated earlier. Who is involved? Who is involved means the person about whom we are going to address. What is the incident, one can say. When did it take place? Where did it take place? Why did it happen, or you can say how did it happen, that makes more sense. Include there, and this is all in para 1. So, you are just giving the news in nutshell in the very first paragraph. The body, that is the second part of the news report. The body of the news report gives more details and provide more information about why and how of the story. So, you go back once again with the whole entire story, but this time you are coming in detail. You will be following, I will be sharing with you some sample newspaper reports which will make things more clear to you. And the last part, we have the tail or the conclusion that contains the less important information, which is often omitted by the newspaper editor, and if there is not enough space. Now, what is this tail here? The tail here comprises of we have the administration, we have the eyewitness. So, these are the remarks usually made by them, which normally the reporter also covers. Hints. The newspaper report should be easy to understand, and every news story should be able to be read by a 12-year-old. And try to be very fair, include both the sides of the story, and don't let your personal opinion get in the way of reporting the facts. Basically, in a newspaper report, we have three types of newspaper reports. The first one is the accident report, natural calamity report, and the event reports. We now move on to the format of the accident report. So, you see here, catchy headline. A heading has to be given. Catchy heading. What do we mean by that? Newspapers are read by their headlines. So, the newspaper headline ought to be a very catchy one, and preferably try to stick to only 4 words to 5 words, not a sentence. Next, we have the place and the date and month. That is known as the byline. The name of the reporter you can see as on the right hand side, and place and date on the left hand side. As stated earlier, para 1 should comprise of the 5 W's. Para 2 should have the occurrence details, the rescue operations, relief operations, casualties, so on and so forth. Para 3, the eyewitness account, compensations to the families of the bereaved, measures by the administration, as what discussed earlier, the tail. Now, the one point to be noted is this, that when we are writing the newspaper report, the place has to be mentioned and the date as stated here, and you can see on the slide. And then we have the block format, that is, it does not have the indented one. So, once you are over with your first paragraph, you give a spacing, a single space, and then move on to the second paragraph. Next, we have this sample of the accident report. So, you can see the headline, and then we have the byline, that is the author who is writing. Next, we have the place, the lead, that is the 5 W's as I stated in para 1, that is what it gives over here. Para 2 is the body, which is giving the detailed news, and the last part would be the quotes of all the administration or the witness, as I stated earlier. Next, this is the sample of the truck rams into a car. This is a road accident report. You can pause and read the entire, that will give you a complete gist of how to go about with writing that. Now, the second part, that is the second type of report, I should be saying, natural calamity. The format is more or less the same, and again we have here, but the difference would be slightly here is the 5 W's remain the same, and para 2 also. But in the para 3, we have to ensure that we are writing about the measures by the administration or the action taken or any recommendations or warning being issued. That is slightly different from the other 2 reports what we had. Here is a sample, and again you can pause and read this sample for your how to go about with the natural calamity report. The last one what we have for the newspaper report is the event report. Again, we have for the event a similar format. So, format does not change, bear that in your mind. We ought to have, once again let me recap, catchy heading has to be there, The place and date month has to be there. The byline has to be there. This is the basic format for writing a newspaper report, and the rest is your essay comprising of 3 paragraphs. The last type, that is what we have, is the event. So again, in the event, as I said, catchy headlines. We are writing about the place and the date and the byline. Now para 1 is basically the same, that is the 5 W's: what, where, when, why and who, and this should be restricted to 35 to 50 words. Para 2 in the event has a slight change here. We are describing the highlighting. Then we have the theme of the event and physical description, marketing, media, industries or companies, entrepreneurs, angel investors for startups, discount offers. So I think this is the main body which should go more in detail. Hence, the word limit here has been from 75 to 90 words. Para 3. This is again important. Consumers' response, the matrix and stats. Now, what is the matrix and stats all about? It is about the footfalls of the people visiting, again the sales that have been made. So you can here give the stats of that. That is certainly going to enhance your writing, stating about, summing up the entire event. Most enterprising and gains and loss. Drawbacks also, because there might be certain drawbacks of this event, so that can be pointed out without being too harsh. And then of course the organizers would certainly have future plans, so even that can be stated in a line or so. So this also again would come up to 35 to 50 words. Students, the whole report has to be in 150 to 200 words. So if I have just given you a tentative word limit, if you adhere to that in a very concise way, in a very precise way, it is going to come up. Or otherwise, either the report is going to be too short or the report will be enhanced and then you will not cross all the word limit. Bear in mind, the word limit crossing has negative marking. So please try the adherence. Now what is the relaxation, one may ask? The relaxation can be barely for 10 to 15 words, not beyond that. So please adhere to it. We have again here one international trade fair sample report given. So you can pause this and read. That will give you how to go about with writing the report for the events. In the next part, we will be continuing with the school magazine report. Thank you. That's all.